and today I am very excited to be talking about a super mysterious book that was discovered, and that is the Voynich Manuscript. The Voynich Manuscript got its name from Wilfrid Voynich, who was a Polish book dealer who purchased the manuscript in 1912. The Voynich Manuscript is an illustrated, handwritten book that has been carbon dated back to at least the early 15th century. The authorship of the book and its purpose has been highly debated, and no one knows for sure who wrote it or why. The book consists of 240 pages, and there is evidence that there are also some missing pages. Some of the pages inside the book also fold out into various sizes. The majority of the pages have very confusing and interesting illustrations depicting unknown plants, astrological symbols, people doing odd activities, and much, much more. The text on the pages is written from left to right. The manuscript has been studied by many professional and amateur cryptographers, which also include American and British codebreakers. However, the manuscript's contents have never been deciphered, and none of the opinions of the manuscript's content has been verified. The meaning and origin of the book remains a complete mystery to this day. The University of Arizona radio-carbon dated samples taken from the manuscript in 2009, and the results were consistent with the manuscript dating between 1404 and 1438. The manuscript's parchment was protein tested and showed that they were made from calf skin, and the entire contents of the manuscript was created using at least 14 to 15 entire calf skins. The bindings and covers were made from goat skin, but were detected to not be the original for the book. There was also insect holes found on the first and last pages of the book, and these suggest that a wooden cover was originally used and then later replaced. The illustrations inside the manuscript were colored with paint. The blue-colored paint that was used on the manuscript proved to be ground azurite with minor traces of copper oxide cuprite. The white paint was most likely a mix of egg white and calcium carbonate. The green paint was characterized as being copper and copper chlorine resinite. And lastly, the reddish-brown colored paint proved to be a red ochre with the crystal phrases hematite and iron sulfide. All of the paints used on the illustrations were proved to be inexpensive at the time that they were used. The pages were analyzed using polarized light microscopy to determine what type of equipment was used to write with, and it was discovered that the author used a quill pen and iron gall ink to write the text. The ink used on the pages contained major amounts of carbon, iron, sulfur, potassium, calcium, and trace amounts of copper and zinc. Most of the text written inside the manuscript is in an unknown language running left to right. It should also be noted that the punctuation was not detected in the writing, and there is also a small amount of Latin script written in the book. I will include a graphic that shows an example of the transcription that has been created for the letters in the manuscript. Now, the most interesting part of the manuscript is the strange and mysterious illustrations that accompany the text. The first category of illustrations are herbal-related and depict one or two plants and a few paragraphs of text, which in theory suggests that it is an explanation of the plants as well as what is thought to do for the human body. The next section of illustrations are depicted as being astronomical. These depict circular diagrams suggesting astronomy or astrology with moons, suns, and stars. There is one set of 12 diagrams that depict the conventional zodiac constellations, 2 fish for Pisces, a bull for Taurus, a hunter for Sagittarius, and so forth. Each of these 12 diagrams have images of 30 female figures arranged in 2 or more concentric bands. Most of the female figures are partially nude, and each one holds a cord or a tether of some kind. The Aquarius and Capricorn sections are completely missing from the manuscript, and the Aries and Taurus sections are split into 4 paired diagrams with 15 women and 15 stars. Some of the zodiac sections fold out of the manuscript. The next section of illustrations are based on balneological or thermal bathing. This section shows continuous text mixed with drawings showing nude women wearing crowns and bathing in pools or bathtubs which are connected by a complicated network of pipes. The next section in the manuscript is cosmological and includes more circular diagrams. This section also includes fold-out sections, and one of them spans 6 pages and contains a map with 9 islands connected by causeways containing castles as well as a volcano. The pharmaceutical section contains many labeled drawings of plant parts including leaves, roots, and more. There are also illustrations of apothecary jars and a few text paragraphs. Lastly, the recipe section contains full pages of text that is broken into many short paragraphs that are marked with a star in the left margin. The overall idea of the purpose of the manuscript is that it must have served as either a sort of pharmacopoeia or used to address topics related to early modern medicine. The biggest issue with the book is that the illustrations are so complex and detailed and yet very confusing. The plants and other parts of the book do not exist on the planet as of now, and the activities being displayed by the women in the illustrations are strange and unknown. The first section of the book is most certainly related to herbal remedies, but any attempt at identifying the plants in the illustrations have failed. The only plants that have been properly identified have been the wild pansy and the maidenhair fern. The issue with identifying the plants in the drawings is that it seems that the author took the root of one plant and attached it to the stem and leaves of another, and then added the flower of a third plant. It is believed that the tubes or connectors that were drawn attaching women to objects or plants to other plants are thought to be implying a connection to alchemy, but they do not resemble the actual alchemical equipment used in that specific period. The history of the book is very much unknown, but the illustrations and the text in the manuscript is characteristically European. As I said above, the book was radiocarbon dated back to the early 15th century, putting its creation somewhere between 1404 and 1438. Much of the history since the manuscript's discovery is vast and hard to follow, and it would take me days to discuss it all. And this video would be much longer than anyone would want to watch, so because of that, I will leave links down below to some of the websites that I got my information from in regard to this manuscript, in case you want to read more about it. Now here comes the part where I will give my honest opinion on this case, and I think this is the most mysterious and strange case that I've come across. I think that the Voynich Manuscript is very interesting and filled with information that we may never be able to translate. I also think that the manuscript have to have been created by someone who wanted to explain these specific plants and their abilities to cure ailments, as well as astrological and medical information. One theory that I think makes sense is that it must have come from an earlier time on the planet, maybe even before one of the many extinction level events that happened here. Or another theory is that it could have come from another planet where these types of plants and the strange language exists. Other than those two ideas, I really don't know where this could have possibly come from, but I know that it's very interesting and very weird. Well guys, that's it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed this one. I know that this is an interesting story and one that I would love to see more YouTubers cover. As always, I really appreciate you watching my video. If you like this content, please consider subscribing, and if you want to see more videos like this one, please hit the like button. I want to thank all of my current subscribers for supporting me, and I also want to welcome any new ones. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!